Okay, I came to Japan 20 years ago and took the Shinkansen all over from Hokkaido to Kyushu. But only stayed 2 weeks. But after 2 weeks, I decided I don't want to leave. So when I went back home, I always had the dream to come back someday. So then, I think 2018, I came to Japan again, just a visitor. Also, like when I came, I got my grandfather's Koseki tohon, which turned out to be a life-changing experience when I found out that, my father passed away 12 years ago, but on the Koseki tohon it says he was still a Japanese citizen until 2 years after I was born. So, because of coronavirus, I was waiting to get certificate of eligibility from Tokyo Immigration Bureau, but I can't come here. So when I realized my father was a Japanese citizen when I was born, I called Japan Embassy in San Francisco to ask, am I a Japanese citizen? They said, no, you're not, but what are you trying to do? And so from that, they told me, because your father was a Japanese citizen when you were born, you're a child of a Japanese national, we can give you a visa, 1-year visa to come here, which I came in March 12th, 2012. And that's how I end up here. My grandfather was born in Hiroshima in 1875, and my grandmother in Yokohama in 1898. But they came to Seattle, Washington in September 1919, almost 103 years ago. And then my father was born in 1920, February. And his name is Kunikazu. And I found out that meant he was the firstborn in the nation in America. So, and then they had a farm in Washington up until World War II. And, but my grandfather and grandmother, Issei's, never went back to Japan. So, And then my father also in World War II, the U.S. Army drafted him into the Army as a 442. And then I was still surprised because I never had a chance to ask him, if he was a Japanese citizen when I was born, that's after the war. That means he was drafted into U.S. Army as a Japanese citizen, and also he was an American citizen too. That's kind of a question I see. Maybe somebody can answer it, could tell me.
Oh, okay.
I'm very fortunate because where I'm staying now, Taiko Suzuki's Inbel Cafe house. She used to live in El Cerrito, California, near my house, like we're neighbors. So when I was looking to somehow get a visa to come to Japan, I asked her to be my guarantor or sponsor, so she lived in Ito. And so when I came here, I was able to stay here. And for me, I'm surprised all the musicians and music that's here. And it reminds me of the 1960s, 1970s when I was a young man playing music when America had lots of music. passed away when I was 2 years old. She wanted to be a musician. And when my mother passed away, I think my father still wanted to kind of have me have that dream. So when I'm very young, and because when my mother passed away, I'm living with my grandparents, auntie, uncle, and one of my uncle, Kozo, played guitar. And so when I was young, there was always some guitar, ukulele to play around with. So I think my father kept making sure I could play music. So he bought me a guitar when I was 14 years old, a good one, Gibson 330. And I practiced all the time. I was able to be, some reason in 1971, August, I got auditioned with a band named Cold Blood. It's on Warner Brothers, and I got the job. And I was making records, living my dream. In 1974, album.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And I'm over here somewhere. A lot of hair. In 1971, I was 20 years old. After that, we made records, and I toured the United States, all over, every state in the United States, except Nebraska. I never went there. And at that time, we had easy to travel then. No, check you and everything. Just grab my guitar, walk to the airplane, put it on the plane. Stewardess give me my guitar. And it was fun to travel there.
Yeah.
So I was able to meet a lot of musicians, famous musicians at that time I looked up to. I get to meet these people. I was very impressed. So was my father. He was happy that he says, "You're making more money than me now," he was saying. Then I saw Matsuyama. I said, wait a minute, Hiroshima is over there where my grandfather was from. My mother's side, from Kumamoto, Kyushu is over there. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go Matsuyama, live there, so I could go, adventure in there. But when I come to Ito, after a while, I met more people 1 month than 20 years in the United States. So just feels like more like a home.
Good.
Yeah.
Welcome to Ito.
Thank you.